Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, TGIF as they say. Today is Friday and we have with us this week Sónia 1. Hey Sónia, welcome back.
Hey Vasco, thank you for the invitation.
So Fridays are product owner days here on the podcast, of course. So Sónia, we'll talk about a great product owner in a minute, but share with us what might have been potentially the worst product owner anti-pattern you've witnessed in your career.
We talked about it already in the previous days. That was the helicopter PO, the PO that is never there. Sometimes he shows up in the beginning of the planning of in the sprint, in the beginning of the sprint, at the sprint planning, checking the team and maybe dropping some ideas and some sprint goals that actually sometimes they are not one single sprint goal. There are kind of more than one sprint goal or things to do actually, and then he disappears and he's not available. At least not. He doesn't show as being available, and does not participate on the retrospectives, for example, and shows on the reviews to see how the sprint goes. And that's I saw that happening. Yeah.
And of course, one of the key things for us is to understand how does this affect the team. So in that particular case, Sónia, what were the things that were coming up in the team as a result of the PO's stance or behavior?
So this is really very, very difficult to the team to first focus on a sprint goal. There's lack of vision, lack of what is the most important thing to us to do, what should be focused. So the result was a team was completely spread around different topics. They were kind of a team doing things, right? They were not actually acting as a Scrum team. They were a team doing things that someone said that maybe this is important, and every time that there's a decision to be made, the team was trying to understand, and maybe sometimes they asked the product owner, and the product owner was like, okay, maybe this is more important than that. That's it. That was the kind of the most communication, the maximum communication that was happening on the team. And what I see there is that the team was completely used as a kind of, provider of, do that, and by the end of the sprint, I will check with you what's there. And the result was failing almost most of the times. Things we were spreading around things that there was a lot of things, so not a huge amount of WIP, work in progress, right? So most of things were started but not finished, and it was a little bit frustrating to see the team not being able to complete the sprint, complete what they were meant to, and most of all, lack of vision, for sure.
And this just highlights the story that you beautifully describes how important the communication between product owner and teams is. Of course, we can easily say they need to be present, they need to be in the planning, in the review, if possible, also in the retrospectives, because their work is also the team's work. But I think it's even more important in this story for me is the aspect that independent of what are the moments or ceremonies in which the PO is present, being present regularly and when the team needs it, and then when present, being able to communicate clearly what is important, what the vision is, why we are doing certain things. So the communication aspect of the product owner role is really key.
Yeah, it's really key, and being present there, and it makes a huge difference, because in a daily basis, when the product owner is present around the team, sitting with the team, within the team, because he is part of the team, it really makes a difference of understanding what's going on there, why are you upset with that? Why are you discussing that topic? No, that's not what happened here. Blah blah blah. So every single time that the team is discussing something and the product owner is aware, he is the key person to uh, clarify everything, to give the answers. So if he's not there, he doesn't exist, right? Uh, he's just a voice out of the team, uh, dropping some things there, and it's completely anti-pattern. We experienced that in the past for many years, and now we know that product owner is part of the team, should be there, mingle every day, every single topic there, with a different accountability, of course, but he's a team member. He is a team member for sure.
Yeah, that's really key. And maybe we're going to
Yeah,
talk about the PO that was a good team member next when
yeah.
we explore, Sonia, the best product owner you've ever worked with. How did they work?
So the best product owner that I ever worked with was, I think, one advantage that I see him, because I think about it. Why was he so good? He was already a programmer, and I feel I'm not saying that it's important, and it's not but it's an advantage. It's a huge advantage to already being there, already know the pains of a programmer, a software engineer, a developer. So he was already in the past having that experience, and he connected with the team with he had so much empathy with the team that actually give him a very nice way of connecting with the team itself. This was one of the first things. The one of the second thing was he was really in vision and dropping new ideas. So he was inspiring the team, and instead of that kind of a person that sometimes the product owners say, "Hey, let's implement a button here." He was not saying a button. He was just saying, "Hey, I would like to our application do that." So the final end goal. So he was putting the vision there, and usually it was a kind of a moonshot vision. So what do you think if we could able to, do that? And the team was like, what? No, it's impossible. I mean, what? They were kind of screaming, no, it's not possible. And he was saying, no, but think about it. And he was motivating. He was dropping ideas. Sometimes, of course, they were not successful ideas. But anyway, he was an inspiring leader, dropping the vision, dropping ideas, and making the space and the room to the team explore it, and and came with and to come with the solutions. And that's the key of a good product owner. I feel it's a person that can motivate, connect, make empathy with the team, guiding them, but not pointing the things to do. The things to do is always a responsibility of the Scrum developers, team members, developers, designers, wherever, right? The product owner that has that sense of responsibility of giving the vision, but not um, trying to set up already the solution. I think it's the key for a good product owner. And this product owner was amazing for that. He was really stretch the team, inspiring and motivating.
Absolutely. And this is the key, really, right? Like you use the word several times, inspired the
Yeah.
team. And I think this is really a great way to describe what the product owner's main job is. Now, the
Yes.
product owner may be a software engineer, a designer, whatever. They may have been a team member before they became a product owner. But even if that is not the case, they can
Hmm.
still inspire the team. And you talked
Hmm.
about empathized with the team, and that's something, of course, somebody who did the work is able to do because they've been doing the work. But in your
Exactly.
mind, what were the key aspects of that empathy? Like, how did the product owner display empathy towards the team? What was that specific approach that the product owner took that showed you that the product owner had empathy for the team?
Because I remember that every time that the team, I am at the time I was a agile coach serving the team, so they were not having a dedicated Scrum Master. I was an agile coach serving as Scrum Master, but not full time. And I remember that this product owner has a very nice could empathize with team, because sometimes he was just stopping what we were doing and say, hey, let's just do some team building. Or he really had that gut feeling of feeling that the team was tired or demotivated, or I don't know. And I feel that this product owner had so much sensibility about what is going on the team. So he was actually acting as a full Scrum team member, feeling what's going on there, and always having the balance of stretching when it's needed, but also relax a bit and leave the team a little bit relaxing and not so under pressure. And I feel that it's also important, and that's where I say that's when I said that the empathy is really important, because we also need to understand how our people feeling, so that we can balance a little bit on this.
It's always about people, right?
Always about people, nothing more.
Sónia, it's been a pleasure to have you here this week. We're getting close to the end, but before we go, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
So usually, Vasco, I'm sometimes more or less actively doing some sharing on LinkedIn. Usually, I'm doing also mentoring. In this case, women mentoring, because I really believe that women, especially on the IT part, really need to be leveraged. So I'm doing also mentoring hours pro bono, and yes. I'm not very, unfortunately, I don't have time. That's one of the things and reasons that I don't share more. I really would like to share more, but I don't have time to maintain a blog or something. So yeah, LinkedIn is the place that you can find me. Reach me, for sure. I will respond you. Could take 1 or 2 days, but I always answer every single connection that I have on my LinkedIn. So yeah, that's where you can find me, and always. Also, of course, and that's where we know each other, Vasco, on the Agile in Europe. I usually go there every single summertime. So yes, you will find me also there. So
absolutely, we'll put the link to Sonia's LinkedIn page on the show notes, as well as to ALE, Agile in Europe conference, which is, I believe, going to happen in Riga this year, right?
Yeah, Vilnius is Lithuania.
This year.
Yeah, this year, yeah.
Close by. All right. Hey, thank you very much, Sónia. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you so much, Vasco. Keep going. It's a pleasure, and it's a good to know that we have this knowledge spreading around the world. Thank you so much, Vasco.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. So join us at scrummasterpodcast.com and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more full week of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.